Hello and welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. And for today's bonus content, I literally can't believe what we're going to bring you. This is amazing. About 2 weeks ago, we brought you a Sudoku by Cam Dennis, which was a Sudoku that could grade your ability according to whether you put a 1, 2, or 3 in the central grey cell. I thought that was unbelievable. We would never see its like again. A couple of people in the comments said things like, yeah, I'd like to see more of these. That would be good. And I was, at the time I read those, I was thinking, yeah, well, dream on. Nobody could ever do that again. It's incredible. Well, that shows how little I know, because what was our very own Sam Cappleman-Lynes working on, he'd done something a bit like that before, and he's now kind of broadened it up a bit. And we have a Sudoku that can apparently grade you from 1 to 7 in exactly the same way. Not only that, it's fully symmetrical. I can't believe what we're showing you today. I cannot believe this puzzle. It's mind-boggling that this could possibly do it. Now, let's bring in a couple of caveats. The first is that Sam will have ordered the digits in such a way that he thinks it's an ascending order of difficulty, and it might not apply to you if you were to try the various grades. Secondly, this may well not relate to the grades in Cam Dennis's Sudoku, so his 1 might be equivalent to this puzzle's 3, or his 3 to this puzzle's 7, or who knows? Who knows how they might relate? And finally, what I did find solving Cam's 3 times was that you learnt a bit about the grid geometry from the first solution. So they weren't necessarily progressively harder if you did as I do, solving them up the chain. But basically, anytime you approach the same grid again, you'll know a bit more about it. And I think that would apply to anybody, not just me. So, let's bear that in mind. But you are very welcome to click on the link and try the puzzle. Remember, you have to put a number in the central cell, and then it's classic Sudoku. The number you have to put in has to be from 1 to 7. I believe that with an 8, there are multiple solutions, and with a 9, no solution at all. So bear that in mind. Don't try 8 and 9. It won't work as a puzzle. But you can try anything from 1 to 7. And they're meant to get harder, so just have a guess at your ability if you want to do it once. That's perfectly good. Or work up through the levels or work down through the levels. You do what you want. You can keep on re-clicking on the puzzle and it will give you another chance to solve it. So I don't know what to do. I mean, you don't want to watch me solve the same grid in different ways 7 times. I know that. Well, some of you might do, but you're very hard-headed about it. I don't want to do that particularly. So I thought maybe I would do something like levels 1, 4, and 7 and just see. But bear in mind, for other people, 6 or 5 might be harder than 7, and hopefully I'll learn something about it if I go through it. Not sure, actually, if there's much point doing 1, but maybe doing 1 will get a flavour of how hard Sam's made it. Given that Sam does make hard puzzles, you never know. 1 might be pretty difficult too. So that's the plan. I mean, I just want to say again, congratulations, Sam. However this turns out, the idea, even that there's a grid that you can fill in 1 to 7 in the central cell and get a different, unique solution each time, literally, it blows your mind. Anyway, all of that said, with the link below the video, let's get cracking. So, going to try it with a 1, see how we get on. So 4 minutes at the start of the video, so we can put a 1 in there. 1 in there. Actually, it's quite interesting to see where the digits are in these central cells. That gives us a 1 up here because that 1's ruling out those 3. Those 2 are ruled out by that 1. So yeah, the 1s are very easy. And I mean, that's what you'd expect. Across the top, we can now do 2 and 9 because there's a 2 in that box. Down here, we can now do 8 and 9. I was hoping to keep that going round the edge. Oh yes, this is a naked single 9 now. Oh, I can't put in 2 and 3, but I can put in 9, 3, 4, 8, 7. That's a 6, 5 pair. 2 and 7, they go straight in. 3, 6, 9 in that set. I can't resolve those yet, but I can do 5. Oops, 2, 4. Yes, 9 and 3. Now I can do the 3, 6, 9 triple. 7 and 6 in row 4. I think, as promised, this isn't too bad. Ooh, okay, as I say that, I can't immediately do the next digit. That's probably my fault rather than the puzzles. 8 I can place there in that cell. It's the only place it can go. 9, 6. I might have to do some pencil marks now. I wasn't expecting that so late on in the puzzle. Oh, that's a 7 nakedly again. So 4 and 5 in there. 7, 8, 5, 6. That's also 4 or 5. So, oh yeah, I see. We could have placed 9 down this column. Sorry, I should have noticed that before. 9 goes in there. I think we're done with the 9s now. 4 and 5. Yeah, look, that's a 4, 5, giving us a pair in this row. So we can fill in those. 5 there. 3, 9. Let's be cautious. Oh, look, that would never could have been a 4. Sorry. There we go. It was a lot easier up there than I'd thought. So, you know, even with a fairly quick run through, I've missed some stuff there that could have made it quicker. Oh, you know, I can do that. 3, 6. There we go again, missing things. I am trying to be a little bit more careful after a couple of incidents lately where what I thought was logic turned out not to be, but I got lucky and finished the puzzle. But there we go. So that's just under 3 minutes. So, you know, that's worked out fine, exactly as we expected. But we're going to restart. And this time I'm going to go with a 4 in the grid, and we're going to see how we get along. Now, this should be considerably harder, but who knows? We learned a bit about the puzzle that time. Yeah, I mean, the first thing I was going to point out before I start is that all of the digits apart from 9 appear in boxes 2, 8, 4, and 6. And they're quite restricted. So whatever you put in the center, you get a starting digit, at least one. Anyway, so I'm going to start again now, about 7.5 minutes into the video. So 4 goes in there, and 4 goes in there, exactly as I was saying. This one slows down a lot quicker. Okay, 4 into column 1. One of those is a 4, and one of those is a 4. They're the last 2 4s in the grid. 7 is restricted to those. 8 goes in. No, it doesn't. 8 is restricted to those 2. That's fine. 6 actually goes in here. Look, in fact, any iteration of this puzzle is going to be able to use all of those 6s to place a 6 here. That gives us the 8 this time. Maybe every time, don't know. So 8 in one of those cells. Oh, and well, 8's okay. It's some sort of symmetrical arrangement with the 6s. So 8s are always giving you this cell as well. They're all given. 1, 7, 5, 8. So 3 in one of those 2 offset cells. We've got 5, and I'm going to just start doing a few candidate squares as well, because there are quite a few. Oh, 1 or 9 down there. 5, 4, 1, 8, 6. That's 2 or 9. 2, 4, 6, 3. Yeah, this is certainly a harder puzzle, and I mean that's exactly what we were expecting. But it's interesting, isn't it, how virtually the same puzzle is giving us something different. Now, what else have we got? 7s? Could be anywhere there. 2s? No. 1s? Everywhere I'm looking, there's not just 2 candidates for a cell, there's 3, which is irritating. Oh, 7s, though, are restricted to those 2. 8s, actually. Oh, look, yeah. Again, they're given from the start. It's a bit annoying in a way. I'm getting a bit of help for the hardest solution, but there we go. Can't help that. 7 is now in one of those cells, so it is a pair. In a pair, rather. 3, still not getting much there. 8, 4, right. Along here, no 6 or 5, so we can actually limit 6 to one of those, 5 to one of those, and both of those to this pair of cells, because 5 and 6 are already in the bottom row. So what I've done is 5 is limited to those two by this 5 and this 5. 6 to those two by this 6 and this 6. And the combination of those 5 and 6, obviously in column 5, 5 and 6 have to be in the bottom box and they can't be here. So they're in these two cells and we can fill this one in as 7. Get rid of the 7 pencil mark from there. That's either 2 or 9. It's sort of a pair with that one now. This is a 2, 9. Ah, lovely. I can fill all of these in. Sort of a naked 9 first, and then a 5 and a 2. That's 7. This is 1, 3, 6. That's obviously got to be 6, and a 1, 3 pair. That's 2 or 9, like its partner down there. These two are 7 or 9, but I still can't quite resolve them. That's 1 or 3. Ah, is this the only spot for 7 now? Yes, that 7 has resolved that. Okay, that's good. 7 there, 9 there. That makes this one a 5, which helps that we put in the candidates earlier, and that's helping again with some of these other cells. Ah, and again here. Brilliant. Okay, so that must do not all the 9s. I thought they'd all be done there. Seem to be picking up 9s everywhere, but no. This one, however, is a 3 nakedly now. 9 there. I think surely we have got the 9s now. 9 there, 2 there, and another 9 here, which resolves the 4s. Lovely. Very handy. This box fills with a 5. I can do 1 and 3 in box 6. Can't do that 2 and 5, but we've got a 3 there. Come back up the top. This has to be a 3. Naked again. 6, 7, 8, 4, 9, 2 in the row. 1, 5 in the column. So we can place 5 and 1 and 3. 1 and 7. And I mean, this one was definitely more interesting in terms of difficulty, but really quite manageable with no special techniques there. I don't think you'd say we came up with anything particularly wizardry, but that clearly still requires a slight different level of competence. And I mean, that's what taken me about 5 minutes with explanation, something like that. So maybe 5.5. That's interesting at the 4 level, but now let's try the 7 level. I really am not going to satisfy the appetite of people who want to see every variant of this solved. I'm not going to do that, sorry. So let's keep the videos to a reasonable length. So I'm going to try 7 now, and this is going to be harder, there's no doubt. So starting at 13.5 minutes into the video. Now we do get 1 7 given straight away in column 6. Actually, we get an interesting quadrant, a rectangle, a sort of X-wing of 7s there. It's not a real X-wing unless we make it work in some way that stops other numbers elsewhere. 8, yes, of course. We can put 8 there, and because I remember it, I'm going to check the 6s here as well, which, yeah, they still give me this 6 here. I think they have to. But that doesn't help much else. But now this 8 and this 8 they rule out lots of the cells in the central box. That one gets the last one, and we can put 8 in here. That gives us a pair of possible 8s. Ah, and 8 here. I think we can finish off the 8s. That gives us an 8 here, because there is one down here, so we can actually fill that one in, get rid of that pencil mark. Yeah, 8s are all done. Now, surely I can do the same thing with 6s and 5s, and I mean, this is why the time on this one is not going to be relevant, but 6 and 5 are ruled out from there. 6 is ruled out from those and 5 from those. So I can fill in 5 pencil marks there, 6 there. Again, these give me a 5-6 pair here and a 2-9 pair in the other cells, which are offset. But now it's getting a bit harder. I've got a 1-9 pair in the final column. I've got quite a lot of cells that are restricted to just 2, especially around the outside. So that one is 1 or 9. Not so much there. This one is 7 or 9. Why are 9s always involved in the possible 2s? It's interesting, isn't it? This is 6 or 9 again. This is 5 or 9. This is madness. What about this one? That's not so restricted, unfortunately. Could be any of 5, 6 or 7, which would place the 9s, or it could be 9. Oh, crazy times. Right. What else have we got? Am I missing anything? 1's along here or 2's down here, but they're not very restricted. Wonder if I am. Let's keep looking. Oh, 7 is... Yeah, that's good, actually. I can place a 7 here because 7's in one of those 2 cells, so it's ruling out all of those. And this 7 and this 7 are taking out those 2 cells, so in fact I can place a 7 there. That's giving me a 2 in one of these 2 because of the 2 over here. That gives me a 2 in one of these 2. That makes this 3 or 9 here, again with the 9 in the cell. Now, since this was in some ways the hardest to find, let's maybe start with this in terms of looking at a chain or anything. So if that was a 9, this wouldn't be. We've got a 2-9 pair in box 8, so that would be a 9. Now, 9 would be in one of those 2 cells. This being a 9, that forces a 9 into one of those 2, which forces a 9 into one of those 2. So in fact, that forces the 9 here, and there's nowhere for a 9 up here. Nowhere for a 9 in column 9 once those 2 boxes have their 9. So this is not a 9. Okay, so that's a 3. Okay, interesting. That gives us a 3 up here. Gives us a 3 in one of those 2 cells. 6, 1, 3, 7, 5, 9. 3, 1, 8. So 4 is restricted to one of those 2 cells now. This is 2 or 9 as well. Yet another pair with a 9 in. 3 is actually limited to one of those 2. I haven't seen that. Let's go around here. What about this? If this was a 9, well, it has quite a lot of effect. So in box 8, again, it forces a 9 here. That brings a 9 into one of these 2. Yeah, up here, it puts a 9 in one of these 3, makes this a 9. That makes one of these 2 a 9, and again, the same thing happens. You can't get a 9 into box 3. Because there's 1 in column 7 in this box and 1 in column 8 in that box. So this isn't a 9, this is a 4. Let's get rid of the 4 out of there. 4 is now restricted to one of these 2. That hasn't really popped anything, has it? Ooh, I don't have to go around the grid picking off cells. Let's try this one. I'm a bit less confident this is going to help. So if this was a 9, so in this box over here, those two can't be a 9. So 9's in one of those two. Now 9's in one of those two. That makes this a 9. That makes this a 9. 9 must be in one of those three, so 9 in column 2 now has to be here. This being a 9 forces a 9 into one of those two. So that becomes a 9. The 9 there is in there. Oh, it's all possible. I was wondering if it was going to be ruled out. Let's try 9 here. That pushes 9 into one of these two. That makes this a 9. Then we get 9 here in column 9. Must be, because it can't be there anymore. 9 in one of those. 9 here. 9 here. 9 here. Oh, it's all possible, I think. 9 in one of those. Okay, so that's not as clear cut. 4, actually, I should have noticed that 4 and that 4 make 4 restricted in this box, partly because of that. 4, 7. Wow, okay, this isn't certainly not straightforward. I mean, this is about what we're expecting, isn't it, from puzzle 7? Crikey, what? There's probably some technique I could be using that I'm missing. And the 9s are just fascinating. Maybe if I just keep trying 9s elsewhere. So if this is a 9, that forces a 9 into one of those two. Then it can't be here. So in column 1 it's here. It's also in one of those two, in one of those two. That 9 meant it was on the bottom row. It had to be here. Yeah, this is impossible, because now I have to have a 9 in row 3 in both box 1 and 2. So just a bit of colouring gets that sorted out. This has to be a 1. And we're left with 2 9s. Now that's interesting. In column 5 we get a pair. 2 9, 5 6 7 8. That's 1 or 4 now. At least it's a pair without a 9 in. Don't quite know how the rest works though, but maybe that 1 will help us more. Yeah, it restricts 1 to one of to one of those two cells. 1 3 4. 2 still reasonably at large there. 2 4 8 6. Come on. Okay, 1 though there. Now that puts a 1 in one of these cells for definite. That gives us a 1 in one of these two. We must have a 1 because it can't be here. We've got a 1 in one of those two. Still quite a lot of options. So you've got a pair here. That. 2 of those. And a group of 3 around the corner there. Six, 8, 5, 7, 1, 3. Can this be 4? If that was 4, there'd be a 4 there. That would put a 4 here. Yeah, that's still possible. It's a shame. I'd like to have ruled a 4 out of that cell. This one is 4 or 9, yet another group with a 9 in. Maybe there's some batch here in the middle that forms a little quadruple or something. 2 actually is what has always been in one of those two cells. For every variant of the puzzle apart from the one with the 2 in the middle, that must apply. This is tricky, isn't it? I have to admit, if this was a competition classic Sudoku, I would have bifurcated long ago to try and get to a solution. But that's not really appropriate for the channel. Now, this is restricted to 1, 4, or 3 because 2, 8, 6, 5 in the row, 7 in the column, 9 either at the top or bottom of the column as well. So that's 1, 3, or 4 there. Maybe these are all quite restricted. 2, 5, 7, 8, 4, 2, 6, 1, 3, or 9. This feels a bit feeble to be kind of trying to find total restrictions on every cell in the box. But there we go. That's what you can get reduced to now. 417538. You know, feel free to point out in the comments if there's something bigger and more clear that I'm missing, and there probably is, but I suspect it's an advanced technique, especially knowing Sam. Wow. Actually, that's an interesting point. 9s are so restricted. Let's highlight all the cells. But we haven't got any 9s in the grid at the moment. No actual full 9s. So, can they go everywhere? I suppose they pretty much can at the moment. So that's not really a big restriction. Oh, unless there's enough columns that they're restricted by. I can't really see that. I don't think there are. I'm not sure. But I do want to get this solved. It would be annoying to not be able to get this done now. Keep going, come on. 2 is restricted to one of those 3, so I'm going to fill that in now. 8, 7, 6, 5, though, could be anywhere here. And as we say, 9 could be pretty much anywhere in the grid. So maybe it's worth redoing one of these 9 possibilities now. So let's say this was a 9. There we go. So now that would make this a 9. That makes this a 9. Now the 9 in the final column has to be here. One of those 2 has to be a 9, so this becomes a 9. This one and this one. And it's certainly possible. It can't be ruled out. So it'll be one of those 2 and one of those 2. Now at least that would stop various other cells, like row 4, column 4 and row 4, column 7 being a 9. So let's try the alternative in column 1 of this being a 9. Now we've got 1 in one of those, and in column 9 this has to be 1, and this. Definitely in that column. So we get this again. Did we have that in the last variant? Might check in a moment. If that's always going to be a 9, that would be very helpful. One of those 3. This one limits us to one of those 2 in row 3. So then we'd have one here. So these 2 inside corners, and that one in row 1. But for the remaining 2 boxes, well, we've got quite a variety. So unfortunately, all of these cells are in play under this variant. That's so frustrating. Now let's just go back. I'm wondering about those inside corners. Did we establish something about them with this as a 9? That meant we had a 9 down here. So, no it didn't. That meant we didn't have a 9 down there. What did that? Oh, it meant we had 9 here. That's right. That gave us a 9 here. So one of those, definitely that one. This one, so that is again a 9 under both variants of 9 in the first column. That one of those, and yes, this cell again. So both of those cells have to be 9 on either version of where a 9 comes in column 1. So please let that be helpful. Let's see how we do. Got pairs in those boxes now, but I have a feeling that it's not going to be helpful for precisely the reason that we could access it both ways. So this is 2 or 6. 4, 1, 4. This is 1 or 5 now. 8, 4, 3, 6, 7. Just don't know. That could be anything still. This can't be 2 because, oh well, 2's in the box, right. So these are actually resolved. Excellent. Okay. Well, sorry to be slow about that. That gets this 5, 6 pair resolved. We've got 2, 4 here. 9 here. 2 here. 9 here. 1. This is a 5, 3 pair now. 9 here, and that's always helpful because that finally resolves the 9 in the first column. 9 up here, I think. Well, we know that we're not going to finish the 9s in the middle, but never mind. We get a 1, 5 pair there. This is a triple of 4, 7, 9. The center must be 4. Got 7, 9 there. This now is a naked 2. This one becomes 5 and 4. We can finish the triple in row 2. Finish box 1. Surely, yeah, we can do that pair. Get a 1 in there. Finish row 5. Wow, I mean, this was mind-bending though. This was really difficult to me. Maybe it just is set up to be tough, or maybe it just really didn't suit me. But there we go. I think we have done that, and what an interesting puzzle. I mean, do report back on how you found the other levels. Let me just check that I filled that in right. Yeah, okay. So there we go. What a puzzle. Brilliant stuff from Sam. I mean, literally, I can't tell you how incredible this is, that this beautiful symmetrical Sudoku arrangement exists, and you can put in the numbers from 1 to 7 to find harder levels. It's incredible. Let me know how you got on. It's an amazing construction. Thank you, Sam, for creating it and letting us bring it to the viewers of this channel, who deserve nothing less than these amazing puzzles that we've been able to show lately. This one is right up there with the most astonishing things I've ever seen in Sudoku. Thanks very much. Hope to see you again soon on Cracking the Cryptic, and bye for now. Okay, it's not bye for now. I'm back again. I had a look at level 6 on my own time, and I want to look at it with you. So let's fill in the bits we can do again. So 8 always goes in here. 6 always goes in here, isn't it? They're given, I think. Oh no, it doesn't look given now. What have I done wrong about that? Maybe 8 doesn't. Maybe I've got misremembered things. How does this work then? Okay, let's go. Oh yes, we have to put in a digit here. So let's start with a 6. That gives us 6 here. 6 in one of these. Yes, it's 8 that goes in here. That's right. 6 that goes in here. Sorry, let's do those in full. 8 there and 6 there. That's right. So 6, 8, 4, 1, 3. One of these is a 7. 8, 6, 3, 2, 1, 7. This is 4 or 9. 4, 7. This is a naked single 9 in this version. I mean, that's not easy to spot. This is now a 5 or a 7, but it's nice to have 9s coming out of the way because they are numbers that were very troubling in level 7, frankly. So 7 up in one of these. just kind of going through the motions of this puzzle. Now, I have not memorized the whole puzzle, but I have tried it at level 8. And I think it's very interesting. That's why I'm here again, not leaving you alone, but bringing you more information about this absolutely astonishing construction. 119 there. Going a bit, this is a bit random at the moment, sorry, can't help that. Now 6, oh yes, we could have placed a 6 there straight away, that's good. Right, 7, 8, 5, 6, 8, 3, 1, 2, 5, 9, that's 4 or 7. Now 1, 8, 3, 7, 5, 4, maybe not now, let's just keep going a bit. Or in fact, let's have a look now at where 9s can go in certain rows. So in row 1, 9 can be in one of those 3 positions. In row 6, 9 can be in those positions. And in row 9, it can be in those positions. I'm just going to leave that highlighted for a moment while you digest the implications of what I'm talking about. And what I'm saying is that in those cells, I'm going to colour them purple, why not? 9 has to be in those cells for those 3 rows. Therefore, for the columns they're in, 9 has to be in those columns. This is this a jellyfish or a swordfish? I think this is a swordfish. And once we've restricted 9 in those cells, that means in the rest of the cells in their columns, there cannot be a 9. And given how much we were struggling with the placement of 9s in the 7 variant of this puzzle, that's extremely useful. Now, I didn't notice this pattern in the 7 variant. I don't think it was there because I think things were set up differently. So let's just carry on. Oh yeah, it is this row 8 there where this is absolutely helpful. This is now a 6. Because of this 6 I placed late on, we can get rid of that 6. And now in this row, which of those 4 cells can take a 9? Well, none in the swordfish columns. So 9 goes in there. And I mean, that is just glorious. 9 can't be here, remember. Same reason. And this 9's ruled it out of those 2. Ruled it out of those 2, so we can put a 9 in there now. That gives us the 9 in row 6. And that gives us the 9 in row 9. You know, what a beautiful pattern. And I mean, this is just part of this incredible 7-fold construction. It's literally, my mind is absolutely blown on this. It's an amazing piece of work. Please relish it for what it is. It's astonishing. So 1, 4, 5 in there. We've got a 1, 9 pair down here. So we've used that swordfish now fully, I think. So 9 can't be in those 2. 9's in one of those. I wish I knew which one. Don't tell me there's some other arrangement of 9's to pick up here because I just can't handle it, frankly. It's too much. 7 there. That was naked. 4, 5 there. 4, 5, 7, 6. So 9 now does go. Oh yeah, that's obvious. 9 goes here. This 1 has been disambiguated. That's great. What a puzzle. I mean, I'm just, well, I've told you how amazed I am. I literally can't believe we're seeing this. 2, 5, 7 in those. This one can't be a 7. 6, 8, 9, 2, 4, 3. Maybe it's not quite as, oh yeah, this is now a 9, isn't it? From the 9's that we've placed in columns 4 and 5. So we can put 9 in here. I think we can finish off the 9's in this version. Hurrah, that's good. Now we can do 5 and 4 in column 1. That's fine. 5 there. Can we do 2 and 3 in column 2? No, not yet. 6, 5, 9, 8. We've got all 7 to place there now. That's good. This can't be 5. These are 5, 7 or 8. I don't know which they are yet. 6, 5. 2, 4, 6, 9, 5. 7, 8, 1, 6, 5. Sorry, I'm probably just missing stuff. Oh, 4 has to go there now. Yeah. That gives us 4 in one of those. This is either 2 or 3 as part of this pair. Also a pair with that. 6, 9. Oh yes, one of these is 2. I struggled to find that in this 7 variant as well, but it's quite important. 6, 8, 9, 3, 1. Ah, this is now a naked single 2. In fact, 4, 7, 5, 6 in the row, 8, 9, 3, 1 in the column. So we didn't need to fill those possibilities in. We could have just hopefully spotted that on its own. Now we've got a 5, 7 pair in the column. We can fill in 4. Does that give us the 4 up here? Not entirely. It's in one of those 2. This is a 1 or 3. That does, yeah, we get 2 in this column 4. That gives us 2 at the top. We finish off row 1. We've got 4 and 3 to place there. 9, 1, 3, 2, 4, 6. This one is now a naked 7. So that places 7 here. 5, 7, 6. This is an 8. This is 5. This is 7. And I mean, this one's unwinding not simply, but much more straightforwardly than the 7 variant. I just wanted to show you the swordfish pattern because that is just glorious. I mean, if that was applying in the previous version that you saw me do, then I apologize for missing it. It might have been there somewhere. I'm not great on swordfishes, so I was delighted to spot that. What an amazing puzzle. I mean, this is all just baked into this incredible puzzle by Sam. And, you know, we're privileged to be able to see this sort of thing. I've been doing Sudoku for many years, and some of the variants that we've seen lately, the Miracle Puzzle and even Cam Dennis's Grade Yourself Sudoku, this one, several of the combined variants that Simon's been doing, they're just incredible. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you very much for watching. And if you stayed on this far into the video, thank you for doing that. What a puzzle. Thank you, Sam, for sharing it with us. Amazing. Bye for now.